You are playing the first movement for the concert, right? Did the school
She doesn't
ask you
know.
guys?
Yeah, she told.
Okay,
We just didn't tell her.
so do you wanna start with the first movement? I mean, we have 75 minutes, so I'm thinking. Were you practicing this week as well? You did? Okay. We're gonna do half and half. We're gonna do first movement half and then second movement half. Yeah? Okay. Ready? Ready? places that are much better than the last time that I heard this. Good job. There was something funky here, right? Was that just a one-time thing? Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure. Great. Okay, I think if you play this in the performance, it's gonna be great. I would like to hear even more contrast in terms of color and dynamics and phrases, because we have a lot of like non-legato touches phrases like this, right? And then we have more singing phrases like this. So I want to hear you commit to those ideas even more. Because sometimes like when we get nervous and then we're playing it on a bigger piano, like those things that we do so well at home, we're on a piano that we know so well, might be less obvious to the audience. So we always have to, do more. And then there are a couple places where you tend to rush, and then I started, clicking the tempo for you, but overall it's much better than before. So whatever you're doing at home is definitely helping, and continue to do that. And I noticed that you dropped the bottom note here. Is that also a one-time thing, or you're just gonna drop it? Because you just played the upper note, right? You did, I think that's what you did. So instead of this, did you notice that? So do you want to do that? Just negate the, okay, all right. It's fine that you want to do this in performance, but I would say eventually you will encounter this quite a lot as you learn more and more pieces. So we have to get over this somehow. So still practice, but then do what makes you feel more confident in performance, but at home, still practice and then eventually it will slowly get better. But in performance, if you want to just drop the lower line, I think that's fine. But you did it so well here, though. This was great. And then, is it because this has a sharp? I'm trying to figure out why you can do it here but not there. They're technically all 6 part. So the first one for you, is it easy because it's all on the white keys? Have you thought about why it works here but not here? I would want to know, like, why can I play the same thing here but then not there? Is it because of the black keys, do you think? Okay, I guess it is half step up. All right. Okay, we're gonna quickly go through certain details. This is now we moved past the first and the second stage. Learn it. We're sort of memorizing it. There are a couple places, but not a problem. And then we now know what the whole piece sounds like. But there are certain details that we can, get it to an even higher level. So okay, from the top. So even with this, I know that you're trying to bring out the crescendo, but sometimes when you're doing that, you tend to rush a little bit. I do want to hear the, like, the crescendo that you do, the direction that you bring out in that phrase is nice, but don't sacrifice the integrity of the speed, the tempo. Especially, this is one phrase, right? So I'm hearing this slightly rushing a little bit, and then unsure here, and then slightly, ambivalence there as well. So I want to hear the one phrase. So that is still there, okay? Yeah, that's so. It's not just. It's to hear that bum 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 bum, right? So maybe thinking about each top note climbing up will help you to keep it steady. You don't have to like bring it out that much, but just to think about it would help you a little bit. So it's not just like note after note, but there's a structure to it. Bum, 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 bum. There's a shape to it, right? So instead of, right now I hear a little bit swimmy. Try it again. So this we start slightly less, right? Then you have room. Yeah, exactly. One more time. Nice. Okay, so here, the bright and vitality in the beginning versus here, it's slightly different, right? So you have, and then, so immediately you have to move into something a little bit, whatever adjective that you put here, like whatever you feel. I want you to feel slightly different than the beginning. Yeah, yeah. So is that one maybe a little higher, right? You have, and then second time, third, right? So you have, and then you climb up the same kind of phrase, right? And then even higher. So it's not exactly just phrase, phrase, phrase. They're not all flat. They're, and then, and then you go back to a different character. Make a mischief, right? Yeah, one more time. Think about the three different sequences, three different layers. First time, second time, going higher, way back, okay. Okay, and then make sure we don't play that sound too much, because I hear, but it's just end this with control and then jump to there. I know it's a lot to jump from here to here, but you can do it. Oh, and also, after your step 1, step 2, you go to step 3, and then the highest note of this phrase is the high C, right? So now, so don't shy away from that C. I personally think it's actually, yeah, exactly, it goes to that C. Nice. Paper. Yeah, that one. Better. Okay, and then the left hand it's too on the surface. I still want to hear, especially this chord. Right? The harmony change, the base of that is in your left hand. So it's not just right hand alone is okay, it's a line, doesn't really show much, but with the left hand adds the richness to the harmony, right? Right? It's like tension, resolve. And then you go in. Okay, so with that in mind. Okay, that also rushes a little bit. But now it's a little too slow. Yep. So this one don't just hit it like that. So sing it. So from here, one more time. So if you just practice this side by side versus, make sure that you hear a lot of differences, not just a little bit. Like make it obvious. So play this one. And also like if you do this, it's actually harder because once your fingers go in like this, you have to open it up again for you to play the next note, right? So we just have the fingers ready and then press them whenever you need to press them instead of, so you're doing this. And the other downside of that is that, as you just heard, it's not stable, right? Because when you're doing this, it's like skiing. Like, you know, this is versus, that's cool in idea, but no. This is more practical, right? And then versus, make sure that you hear all the time. One more time. So after you play this, your hand goes this way. So could we like have the hand just, you know, resting there, get ready, and then see how my left hand just, it plays, and then move to the next one that I need to play. Try again. Slightly better. I still see a little bit like, you know, flying away, but better. Okay, good. And also, I know that you want to make sure that the tone is, you know, crispy, short, whatever. But if you just play on the surface of the key, just touch and go, it's actually harder to control. So make sure that you actually go to the bottom of the key. Otherwise, it sounds like it tends to be more uneven if you do it that way. So if each note go to the bottom, it's actually easier to control. And then dynamic-wise, piano, so slightly less. Go on, and then we'll play this one, same phrase. This one. I want you to directly hear this versus this. Okay, so I hear you do this, but it's actually, it has slur, 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 right? Yeah, so the pinky doesn't stop for that long, because if you're holding it too long, that overlaps with that, you actually, you know, prolong that note too much. No rushing. One more time. Okay, good. Okay, so now move on. Start from here. One last time. Okay, no rush. No rush. No rush. Each note. We speak clearly, accurately, no rush. And left hand, right? Not only this, the entire phrase we want them to sing, right? Support, okay? And also your right hand, is it, or is it, right? So now I do hear the sound, but it's more like ba 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 ba. Could we bring them together? Could we connect them together? Okay, check the score. Check the score. Look at it first. Look at it. Okay, and then play. So what's the left hand? What's the left hand? Good. And then? Okay, we need to make sure that those two notes are connected. I think, do it one more time. So you are also unsure of the fingering. You're also unsure. So let's decide, what fingerings would you like to use there? What were you using before? Do you remember? What were you using? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We just need to make sure that with that fingering, there is, first of all, sound, and then each sound is connecting, so it's a phrase with direction. And then there's support. And also it has to be a good sound. It's not just warm and singing sound, right? One more time. Okay, it's missing certain words. Left hand. Better. Now start from here and then go on. No rush, no rush. One more time. And also sometimes this spot is slightly inconsistent because sometimes you taper it really well, but sometimes you do. It's a little too heavy, but just a reminder because I know that you can do it. From here, one last time, and then move on. And so make sure you line up these two. And with these rests, come back to the next note earlier. Because I know that it like your left hand is hovering, so just, don't stress yourself out, just move to the next note that you need to play. So, as a way to minimize any potential wrong note. From here, one more time. Yeah, especially when you have to line up this. This note sometimes is linked. So sometimes it's like they're not perfectly aligned. So from here, one more time. Okay, and this one, what you just did is fine, but don't overdo it because we've talked about this when you did. Like when it's completely out of time. That is a little too much. So I would say maximum what you just did. Any longer than that might be a little too long. Because if it is out of the tempo so much, I might feel like, discombobulated. Like, oh, is this like, did she forget the music? Or, it's also out of the style, right? And here, that is an uncomfortable chord, right? It's not so sunny and bright as it's. So I want you to make us feel differently when you're playing here. Not as easy as here. The feeling that you convey when you're playing here. Bring out the discomfort. Because I feel like, because it's such a big jump, so you're sometimes doing like too minimized in a way, so just embrace it. Yeah, exactly. And then right hand also has to be. Right? And also this. What is it doing? Same thing, it's climbing up, right? So it's not just flat surface. Much like this is it. So whenever you have a chance to bring out a phrase or to, show us the direction of the phrase, to sing out the phrase, take that chance. Sing it, bring out more. From here. And also here, you have a chance to be showing us something different. So lighter, right? The sound has to be lighter. From here. Good, nice. Okay, and all of these, remember, even though they're non-legato touches, they're staccato, but still it's not, it's right? We gotta shape it still. This was so good. Okay, from here. Okay, so don't forget, this is a different phrase starting from here. So don't connect to this and this. So you play. That's a new element. Okay, so don't. It's kind of like you want to say, I am feeling very hot today and I need water. Or like, I'm feeling very hot today, I need water. So you're breaking the phrase at the wrong spot. So make sure that you break here and not to just connect over, okay? Two different phrases, two different feelings. From here, one more time. Good, okay, and this is the spot that you tend to rush. Because it's so smoothly going down, because it's like, you're naturally kind of just like, oh, I'm just gonna go now. So withhold that desire in your heart, okay? Like, you still need to have that pulse in your heart and also in your brain. So just don't let that just wash over you. Be like, okay, I'm just gonna go with the music now. You are in control of the music, okay? From here. Oh. Where to start? Where to start? Is that the same phrase? Doesn't start on the D. Starts on the right? Okay, that's good. That's now going to the other direction of slowing down. Wow, what happened there? Okay, one more time. I'll help you. Okay. Pulse-wise, much better. So without me tapping or clapping for you, I want you to have that pulse also within yourself, okay? And the other thing is, this is one type of phrase, right? And then when you get to there, it's right? So you have the element A, element B here, right? So this is it going up or down? It's definitely not flat. Is it going down? Right? Okay. So maybe, and then the starting point here is slightly more so that you have room to come down. Otherwise, it's going to sound flat again, right? The contrast that we want to bring out requires us to think ahead. So when you're starting this phrase 1, 2, 3, 4, each time I want it to be less, and that's how we hear the sequence coming down. Otherwise, it's all just the same, right? And then you finish that element, and then now you have a different type of phrase, the variation of it. And that's when you see the marking forte. So you finish it here, and then forte, starting up again, you're going back to the same note here, and then different type of going down, and then to the diminuendo, right? So it's actually pretty straightforward here, so that's one thing. Okay, from here. sure you just commit to that. And also, I'll write it down. No rush. Okay, go on. Okay, so, and then you your chance to do something, right? Like, try more, do more, be dramatic. Exactly, and then more, less. Less on the right note. One more time. That was good. Do it evenly. Okay, from here. So this started a little too much, I would say, right? Because you need to say room. So it's up and then down, right? And then from here. One more time. Good. Good. Excellent. Good. Okay, I like how you noticed that this was too loud and then you played it again and then tapered it. Excellent. That means you're hearing and then reacting and then adjusting. That's great. So how did that feel to you? I thought it was great. I thought it was, much more expressive and much more contrast, and it's a lot of vitality and fun, which is what this music is. Okay, I'll ask you to do it one more time so that we can lock it in, okay? From here. More. Less. Nice. So, when you have this, don't just like bum bum bum. It sounds too straightforward. If it's 3 repeating, there are definitely, different people are gonna do this spot differently because of, different interpretations. I would probably do it like bum bum bum, getting into it each time more. But you could also do, even though I feel like this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 downbeat, so it tends to invite you to do the da 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 da. But either way, don't do it just like too straightforward, sounding like that. Okay? From here. Taper. And also left hand. I noticed some noodling going on. One more time. Go on. I know you can do it. But then this is actually so within the there's bum going in, right? And then G, A, B. What direction is that going? Up. Okay, great. Right? So don't waste that opportunity. Okay? Or, but make sure that you climb up. First time, second time, third time. Okay? One more time. One more time. Okay. So you have, and then again, a different variation, da 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 dum, da 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 dum, ba dee da dee, right? So up and then down, taper it, and then 1, 2, 3, 3 different layers. One more time from here. Okay, that might be awkward from here, maybe. Good. Okay. So this, you know what I'm gonna say, right? Direction. Yeah, sense of phrasing. Good. And then, so don't just, so, and no rush. Don't hit that. Kind of a little circle. Okay. And that's longer, actually. That's a quarter note. Yeah. But then don't delay the right hand. The left hand is correct. End. This is the same thing. It gets a little unstable within your right hand here. So think about the pulsing that I was talking about. Sometimes it gets a little, wishy-washy. Try one more time. Good. And also this whole section is developing, right? So it's traveling from places to places. It's not so stable as like the beginning key. It's going from, this is the harmony, different one. Second time, so what could we do with that? Because currently I feel like it's lacking the color changes that I was talking about earlier, right? Because you could do remain more, maybe there are certain things that we could do. But what we do with this is up to you because you have your interpretation. But you have to think about, oh, with this key, what do I feel? Is it feeling less here or is it feeling more? That's for you to explore. But I'm inviting you to think about it this week, okay? From here. Different now. Okay, good. Nice. Traveling, different key. So this one, similar to here. We want to make sure we breathe correctly. So, da dee da dee da. Is it da da dee da? Bum 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 bum. Is it that, or is it da da dee da bum da dee da? First or the second? First? Okay, good. Because sometimes you connect this to this and then you break here. So we want to make sure that I personally think is and then because See the sequence here? Da da di da da, and then dum bum 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 bum. Do you agree? Okay, then we come in and we do that. From here. Okay, so in order to avoid sounding really flat, what do we do with the right hand? So what did I do just now? I started low. I started softer, right? So that there's room for you to go bum, 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 right? Okay, so excellent. Do that. Less. Even less. Good. Okay. And also relax your left hand thumb, because sometimes I feel like you're playing it this way, and this is actually making you harder to hit the right note. Because imagine like if you were hitting the notes trying to like use this surface area, that's a lot of, surface area. But if you just use here, gives you more accuracy and control, right? So like if I do this, I might hit two notes at the same time, which is what just happened, right? But if I do this, then I can do, this is C and D, right? So make sure you rest here, because I do, see that sometimes you have a lot of tension here. And then you kind of go like this, like this. So make sure, watch out for that, okay? Same spot. Good. Start less. Nice. One, thumb, bum. Okay, so we just did. What we're gonna do again? Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. And then bum, 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 bum. So we're gonna do that, right? One more time. Nice. New phrase. Oh, wait, what happened there? What happened? One more time. And also no rush, right? Play that one more time. I feel like that felt like a gigantic jump, but it's actually not that far away, right? Play here. No, actually connecting. There's something that happened here. Maybe start from here. Yeah, so what's going on there? Let's figure it out. Slowly. Okay, so you gotta know where the third finger is going. Not just guessing, but with intention going to where it should go, okay? Okay, so that is a weakness that we just realized here. Because it doesn't really happen every time. Like when you were playing through, this was fine, but another thing that I noticed is that when you're playing here, right hand turns go this way, because you're not really like the third, fourth, and fifth are not really, standing up with support. So sometimes you go like this, which is also kind of dangerous, because you want to hear the phrase with clarity, right? If you do, it's kind of like me trying to do this, my left hand, and then that is kind of dangerous to jump. Did I write that 3?
But I don't use the finger.
Oh, so what finger are you using? So you were doing 5 and and 4 and then to 3? You know what? I have a better idea for you. Okay, so let's correct it to the finger that you were using. So you were using 5 and 4, right? Yeah, so 5, I like that, 5 and 4. Instead of the 3, guess what? We can just use 1. Because you're still, yeah, how do you get from here to here then? Play it one more time. Oh, so you do use 1 and 4. Okay, fine. That's what you're doing. I propose. Yeah, I propose 1 here. Do you want to try? Because it will solve the issue. Or like try 2, because jump from 4 to 3 within a fifth is actually kind of dangerous jump. So maybe the options are 5 4 stays. 5 4 you could do 3 no 4 on the C or 1 on the C. Because your muscle memory at this point is used to the jumping. You were jumping to 3, which now is kind of like half chance. Half of the time we're missing, so we gotta do better. I think if you do 4 jumping to 2, that's safer. Try that. You're 2 though. Isn't that a smaller jump, right? It's smaller. It shouldn't change that much for you. I think you need to think about this a lot. I'm gonna draw a question mark and then we'll, see if you figure out the perfect solution here by next week. But play from here and go on. Yeah, so it's definitely a half chance that needs to be resolved. Okay, from here one more time. You were just using 3, right? Okay, try a different fingering. Okay, and also that I'll leave it to you to figure out, okay? Don't do, right? Where does the phrase go? It goes to the long, right? Kinda. Like a bird. Cutesy. If this one is too heavy, then it's kind of like when you want to dance a circle, if you just sit down on the first beat, you can't really go through the circle of motion, right? If you just do, the motion of that is just down. Once it goes down, it doesn't really go anywhere. But if you could just start lighter and then think about the direction, then suddenly you're like, oh my god, that's very dangerous. Oh.
Oh no.
Same, I have experiences. Okay, one more time. So not too heavy on that one. And also, the down beat is a rest. This is not a down beat, it's a weak beat, right? So, in that way, it sounds inviting instead of like, we don't want that, right? One more time. Good. Nice, go on. Yeah. Okay, and then, is there a difference between this and this? Yes or no? Yes or no? Is there a color or dynamic difference between the two phrases? Yes. Okay, great. I love the answer. So you have this, and then let's. So make sure sure you bring out the difference, okay? From here. So not too heavy on that. Yeah, good. Okay, same thing. Not one. You see the direction, right? You see the shape? Right? That's this one. And then and then what happens here? So this one you could do and this one like more inward. The first time then that's how we create differences, right? Okay, so if the beginning is already forte, where do we go, right? Better. Nice. Okay, so this long phrase, not right? This is AI. We want, yes, exactly. And then that's how you go back to the beginning. Start less, right? Good. And then good. Okay. From here. Something happened. You might want to, when you're doing the staccato, you might want to stay closer to the key, considering that you have a jump to go, right? So if you go up, so, you know, suddenly, you might not get to the place you want to go. Da 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 da. One more time. Oh, okay, so you have to, when you get off from the beat, you have to think left. Motion wise, you know, the keyboard geography that we talked about, you have to think left, so your hand goes left. Okay? And start left, right? Yeah. And also no rush, you still have to feel the pulse, right? And also that doesn't start on a 1. It's actually 1, 2, 3, 4. You're starting on a 2. Right? And better. Okay. Both hands. That's 14, right? Bring out. Still a little bit dangerous, so, you know, requires a little practicing here. I will draw the start and then I'll leave that to you to figure out. And the recap. Any questions with the recap? No? Okay. So you know how to figure everything out now that we talked about the first half of the music. Because a lot of things are similar, right? Phrases, directions, how do we create the shape? You know, you figure out which direction is going, and then say room dynamic-wise, and then color changes when you have harmony, and certain spots that you tend to rush, you have to feel the pulse, all of that, right? It's in principle they're the same thing, just in a different key. That's what they're called, recapitulation. Because I want to listen to your second movement a little bit. So, okay, second movement. Wait. One more time. One more time. Da, da, da. So you were in the tempo of. The quarter note length doesn't change, right? Da, dee, da, da, da. Yeah, okay, so now I'll go from before. Because I know to move from triplet to that is confusing. Dee, da, 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 dee, da, 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 dee, da, da. But they're even though. Da, dee, da, 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 dee, da. One more time. From here. Bum, dee, da, 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 dee, dee, da, da, da. Yeah, too fast. So 1 dot dot 2 3 1 2 3. So feel the bigger beat. Don't feel the 1 2 3 2 2 3, but feel the 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 2 3. Because now suddenly in this measure, 3 cakes. Each cake you have 3 slices, but suddenly in this measure, in this measure, it's 4 pieces, right, per cake. Dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da. But it's still 3 cakes. The size of the cake doesn't really change. Does that make sense? Because the quarter note remains the same, right here, right? That's quarter, 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 and then this is quarter. This is quarter, this is quarter. So still 1, 2, 3, and 1, and 2, and 3, okay, from here. Da, dee, da, 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 dee, dee, da, 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 dee, da, 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 dee, da. So now the stage 1 of reading the music has been completed. Good job. So when you're playing this kind of slow music, I want you to think about how long the line is and how long the phrase should be, because it's not just 1, 2, 3. Because currently it's very vertical, right? But maybe think about either, I think about this as like vocal. I will try to sing it like. Like very, very long thread, right? It's like slow moving, but it's still moving with the direction, right? Not this kind of line, but this kind of like wave going forward. And you can also think about, like a violin melody. Like try to sing that a little bit so that you can somehow try to, because you have to hear the melody in your head first in order to use your hand to imitate what you want in your mind. So I find it, when I was really young, like playing slow movements was really, really hard for me because, all I wanted to do was like either the third movement, allegro, like really fast and happy, or the first movement, like that was very natural to me. But then slow movement was really a big struggle for me. And then my teacher at the time told me to listen to a lot of string playing so that I can at least have that sort of sound in my mind to, rely on like, okay, what do I want here? So then I imagine, okay, a violinist, how would she play this? Like, closer to the string, not, because this is like up, down, right? But like not quite leaving the key, everything, it's so like, like this, like sticky. Like, there is a connection between the high and the low, not the, and then, like gliding, something gliding through. So think about that, or if that doesn't help, think about vocal, like how would you sing this? Human voice, really, really warm, very inward. Not extroverted, this one is more introverted, right? From the beginning, try a little. Nice, amazing. So I know that you have to break it in order to get to the next note, but try to stay on this as long as possible so the gap in between is less. It's okay that we have a gap for now, our hand is growing, but then if you can, like just have as much contact as possible. Break it at the last possible second, not any earlier. Yeah, exactly, amazing, okay. Great, okay, so what were you thinking? Were you thinking about string instrument or were you just singing in your head? Whatever that you were thinking, I just want to hear. What were you thinking? Because this is so different. Like listen to that later when you're at home. It's suddenly much, much more legato. Much, much more singing quality. The tone is nicer and then the phrase is longer. So it's great. What were you thinking? Because we have to figure out what we were thinking that was helpful, then we can replicate that throughout the piece, right? So what worked for you just now? Think, there's gotta be something. String? Or just line? Singing in your head when you were playing? No? All right, but whatever that worked, we want it to keep working. So go on from the beginning one more time. Okay, this is less legato than before. So go back to the last time. Think about what worked, and then try one more time. Very, very long phrase. Better. Try to avoid that. I know you have to make the jump, but so finish whatever is here, and then go there. The forte starts on there, and the forte is also a suggestion. It's probably not his manuscript writing. This is probably an edited version. So. Make sure you. Better. Think of all the worms and. Oh, it's still a little bit. So it's about the right hand thumb control, right? So don't quickly hit it, because if you do this motion, that's bound to be loud. Yeah, closer to the key. So slow. It's like a lazy finger, right? Because if you are too active, harder to control. Yeah, exactly, amazing. And then this one also, not too fast of an attack, because we talked about like if the attack is fast, then the sound is gonna be sharper, right? But if you do slower, it's like Tai Chi, like this kind of movement instead of this. One more time from here. Da, da, dee, da. Phrase. Good. Now we just gotta reach to the right note. The ending is great. Good. So try to. Sometimes certain notes are not together. You hear that, right? I think it's this one that tends to be not together. Oh, actually, never mind. It's this one. Actually, it's the easier one. So you got the harder one, but then the easier one is not together. This is like literally walking on flat surface. Like you can make the jump, but then we gotta figure out a way to walk on the surface. This is easy, right? I think it's because you just kind of pushed into it, so they're not necessarily lined up when you're, it's like this. So maybe just lift a little bit, and then, yeah, exactly. But then, don't make the, like switching too obvious, because if you do this, it's not gonna sound as legato, right? You heard that right away. That's gonna reflect on the phrase. Sticky. Closer. Yeah, better. Okay, from here, both hands. Oh, still. This one. Lift and then. Yeah, so you were kind of trying to walk like this. If you just up and down, might be easier. Because you were doing this. Because the thumb is shorter, so I think they were just landing unevenly. But if you just up, down, like normal walking, that might solve the issue. Were you just checking the time? I saw you looking like, 75 minutes, this is so long. We're almost there. I just want to hear one more phrase. From here? Do you hear it? Not together. Do you hear it? That is not together. One more time. Better. Go on. Better. And then you have the second part of the phrase. But not that obvious. Like now I'm hearing like a hiccup almost. Just a little, da 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 da. A tiny bit, right? left hand. That doesn't help with the long phrase that we're trying to build, right? So you want to do. Yeah, exactly. Now you go into a different element, right? Now the scenery is changing. Right? So from here to here, I almost want to think about these two lines in like one long phrase so that it's not so choppy and vertical. Yeah? Make sense? Are you gonna think about it? Any question in second movement? I mean, the only rhythmic thing is here, but that's actually easy to fix. This is all good. I would say this now is slightly too short, but listen to a couple recordings. That's also easy to imitate and fix. The hardest one was the 2-2-3, which you fixed perfectly. All of this is great, and you're counting. This is all great. And yeah, think about this, the cake, cake 1, cake 2, cake 3, the same cake here, cake 1, cake 2, cake 3. So don't suddenly get much faster because you pretty much just doubled just now. So dun dee dun 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 din dee dun 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 dee dun 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 dee. What you could do is that put the metronome on, just chant it. Don't play it. I know you just made a face. You're like, oh, why metronome? It's helpful sometimes, you know. So when you have the metronome on, you're like, oh, this is too fast. Sorry. Dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da. Just like read the rhythm out, chant the rhythm out, because you gotta figure it out here in order to play it here. So da, because this is constant. We as human sometimes will count a little faster, count a little slower. So make sure that is gonna remember this. Make sure you have this on, and then da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da da. Okay, this is the only spot. It doesn't really happen anywhere else. So once this is fixed, we're Okay, thank you so much, Maria. This was